Welcome back to the third playthrough of Conquest of Elysium 5 on my YouTube channel here. We've been through the Troll King and Dryad Queen already. And this time I think we'll be delving into the Baron. So we're gonna go for a large map size, battle reports turned on, and we're gonna go for Wilder. Now down here you can see different explanations of what different things are. So real quick, we're gonna just read that. Most independents will be significantly boosted in numbers. It will be more difficult to obtain and keep resources. This setting might be suitable for a team of players that want more challenge from the independent forces. I like Wilder though. We're gonna add another AI and ramp them all up to count difficulty, which gives them double income on all resources, and I believe also starts them out with a little bit more units. From what I've heard anyway. I don't really have any way of confirming that as of yet. What I'm gonna do is change the colors around a little bit on our opponents here, because it's always the same colors when you start a new game, and I just want a little bit of replayability in this sense as well. Now, Baron. Let's read this lore real quick. The frontiers of the human realm were defended by landowners known as barons. Some barons were warlike and restless. As humankind spread over Elysium and became dominant, these barons tried to usurp the master's powers and waged war on their neighbors. The large, well-trained forces at their disposal made them formidable foes. They were soon in control of large parts of the human territories. However, not all humans were content with this. The sorcerers of Elysium gathered armies of their own, and non-human warlords called out for vengeance. The barons must once again subjugate Elysium. The Baron has a wide variety of human troops and huge siege engines at his disposal. Knights are formidable units who can inflict additional damage by charging enemies in the initial phase of a battle. Heavy infantry units are strong but move slowly. Fast cavalry units under the leadership of mounted commanders work as highly mobile forces. The Baron knows how to keep his subjects in line and can cow peasants into obedience. All farms and villages under the Baron's rule are required to send a levy of soldiers to the Baron each year. This muster consists of simple spearmen from farms and at least one knight from each village. Large towns and cities do not contribute soldiers. The Baron can also form local militias to defend villages and cities. The larger the settlement, the stronger the militia. Now, his abilities starts in a very well fortified castle, which is fine. It's what it is. Whatever. 25% increase to gold and iron income, which is pretty nice given the fact that our opponents have 100% increase to these things, so catching up with them a little bit on that would be good. Conscription yields soldiers from settlements and ancient forests once every year, the first turn of summer. The Baron and High Lords can raise levies, stationary defenders, in villages and towns. Receives free units from guard towers. And that's about it. I think that's a pretty basic class, an easy class to get into the game with. And it's the first class I played, and well, I've come full circle, because here we are again. And I think we're gonna go with maybe blue? Like a royal blue looking... Oh, that's a nice blue. I just want these other colors to be a little bit more distinguishing. But yeah, we're going with this blue here, that should be fine, and... Right, so... we're gonna call him Manfred. I mean, we're blue now, but the Red Baron in World War I, the Flying Ace, was called Manfred von Richthofen. And we're a Baron. We're kind of red, the character model, so we're going with Manfred. I'm going to be renaming all the commander characters as we play along, because that's just a thing that I like to do, to get more like personalized with what I have. Now we start with a hamlet and 2 farms. And we also start right next to a bunch of trolls in a old castle ruin. So we're in like the past the Empire society, at least I would say. I'm not too good at just recognizing like, oh, we're in that society. Just straight off the bat. We do have a magic library level 2 right here, which is pretty sweet. Of course we can't take that anytime soon because it's guarded by level 2 spellcasters with a bunch of items and other units, so taking on that right now would be pretty suicidal. An iron mine here, a forest with some boars and snakes, some roaming serpents there, farm with some archers, 2 archers and 2 spearmen, that might be the first thing that we go for. Alright, let's rename this guy, our commander here, to Siegfried. Siegfried the High Lord. Gonna go with some Germanic naming schemes, so. And yeah, so let's check out the various things we have here. We have these, the High Lord with 3 armor, which is pretty substantial. That mitigates 3 damage. He also has a shield, so he can mitigate an additional damage, 50% chance of that, and 0 to 2 damage in addition to the armor damage reduction from ranged weapons. He has a lance charge that he charges in with for 1 to 12 as his first attack, and after that he attacks with broadsword twice per turn. So, fairly good unit, in fact. He is fast, meaning he has 4 action points to move around with, got local leadership and leadership, so grants a morale bonus to all units led by this commander on the battlefield, and then on top of that, local leadership that gives morale bonus to anyone within 2 tiles of him. Now we also have 5 cavalrymen. They have a little bit less hit points, 10, and a little bit less armor, 2. They don't have these other abilities, but they do have shield. The lance charge is a bit weaker, and they only attack once per turn with the broadsword, but they do 1 more max damage, so that is something to take into consideration. We're gonna use these guys as just a mobile cavalry force, and we're gonna just send them out and scout real quick and see what's in the area before we land on this farm here, which we should have no problem taking out. And none of these are roamers. They should be stationary in their respective whatever it is that they are defending. So I think we can leave the safety of the Baron's castle this turn, and we will take on, I think, these snakes, because the boar's gonna have a harder time getting to the castle. Well, I mean, they can technically walk into a castle, I guess, but oh, there's an enchanted forest though. With a bunch of phantasmal stuff, which isn't too fun to deal with. They have magic damage and a phantasmal weaponry, and they have ethereal, meaning 75% chance of just passing through if you do not attack with magical attacks. And they have charm immunity and some other stuff, and they also have this guy that also seems to have ethereal, and yeah, he's got mesmerize and enslave, which will capture your troops over to his side. And a bunch of ethereal phantasmal wolves, so yeah, we're not touching on that anytime too soon. That being said, let us end the turn. We're gonna have to deal with these serpents. Hopefully we were able to do this without casualties, but they do have venomous bite. It does 1 to 10 poison damage, which is definitely, if anyone gets poisoned or dead. Our spearmen are trash, they have 6 hit points, no armor. Our longbowmen have 5 hit points, no armor. But hopefully we don't lose longbowmen, because I don't care that much about... Well, that's good. I don't care that much about spearmen, but the longbowmen I definitely want to keep, because... let's quickly have a look at them again here. As you can see, they have range 6, 1 to 4 damage. Which is pretty good, actually. Regular bows have 5 range and 1 to 3 damage. So this is a special unit that the Baron gets, I believe. And yeah, I like to have quite a few of these in my armies, because they help you out a bit. There you see, we're just rolling over them here. Not a problem at all, we didn't take a scratch even. And then there are these 14 serpents, which also have weak venomous bite, which is not as bad as the other snakes we just fought. But it still is 1 to 5 poison damage, and that's enough to, with the initial attack here, doing 1 damage to just basically kill most our foot soldiers. However, okay, we got a guard tower though. We could actually maybe get on taking that, because that would give us 3 units over time. And we can recruit though. But first let's reclaim this farm from our serpents. Before we do that, we're gonna scout around a little bit. Okay, there's not really much more scouting we can do due to them being there, and there's a swamp and forest there, so we're just going in with everything we have to try to minimize our casualties on this one. Now, as you can see here, the Baron can recruit quite a few units. He's got a good selection of units to recruit. More than most classes, for sure. He's got Spearmen, which is kind of like the base infantry unit. Nothing special. Swordsman, a bit better with 1 armor. And broadsword instead of a spear, so does a little bit more damage as well. Costs iron though, in addition to gold. Got crossbowmen. I'm not a huge fan of these myself, although they do, like, they have range 5 and 1 to 5 damage, so they do slightly more damage, like 1 point more of max damage than the longbowmen. Has a little bit less range, but the crossbow only shoots once every 2 rounds. However, these are better against armored targets than the longbowmen. But when these guys do 1 to 5 damage, the longbowmen will in the same span of time do 1 to 4 damage 2 times at a greater range. So I do prefer the longbowmen over these, for most situations. We got heavy infantry and they're slow as heck. They have a large shield as well, mitigating twice the damage as a regular shield. Armor 2, hit points 8, and a broadsword with 1 to 6 damage. So I mean, they can withstand a little bit thanks to armor and their shield. But in my experience, they're not really that good. It's like whatever. So longbowmen here, we've already seen them. You only get 4 of those instead of 5, which you get from all the other ones, except for the cavalrymen, which you get 3. We have pikeneers. They hang around like back of the front line and use the long spears to kind of poke through the front line to do some damage, which can be useful if you have 20 units up front and then 20 pikeneers behind them. There you have basically 2 front lines attacking in melee. Halberdiers. 1-8 damage, 1 armor, 6 hit points. I mean, this isn't like super survivable units, and I feel like they aren't the strongest at all. They're pretty... I mean, there's certainly weaker units like goblins and kobolds and whatnot, but I don't think these units are as strong, in my opinion. I guess that's just because they're human. We got, the Zweihander here, which, if you didn't know, this Zwei is German for 2, so it's the 2-hander. Damage 1 to 9 in sweep, meaning that if he overkills an enemy and there's additional damage to go around, that damage will jump over to the next available melee target. It's got 1 armor, 6 hit points. Then we got the Tower Guards, which I kinda like. They got 1 armor, 7 hit points. And they got a crossbow and a broadsword, so they are actually decent for range. And when the time comes for it, they can switch into melee. And still be quite capable at it. However, they do cost a bit of iron though, 15. And then we got the cavalrymen. We've already seen those. War dogs, which... useful in a pinch if that's all you can afford, I guess. You get some of these, they have 3 hit points. No armor. 1 to 4 bite damage, and they're not really that good. They're fast, but not really that good. I mean, you could have them with your cavalry, it's kind of like just throwaway units, I suppose, because they move at the same speed, so you would still retain the 4 action point movement, but And then you got Ballistas, Catapult, and Trebuchet that you can recruit at all times. All these units are always available for you to recruit, so that's good. Let's see how we fared against these serpents. I hope we didn't lose too many units, but I do expect that we lost some. If we're lucky, our cavalry kind of ripped through them pretty hard. Ah, so he's poisoned, he's gonna die then, because this gonna do... no, he might survive actually. No, we lost 2 no, well... okay, so 2 spearmen. Well, I mean, it could be worse. So we could hire 10 archers for 70, which I would if we actually really could. But here you can see they have range 5 and 1 to 3, opposed to the, as opposed to the longbowmen's range 6 and 1 to 4. So a little bit weaker, but still absolutely a decent unit. And You will have no complaints from me on them. This guy lost an eye, that is a bit inconvenient. But it is what it is. And we should try to recruit some more units, I think, for Manfred. Which, yeah, let's do that. We'll just put him back into the castle here, wait for next turn until we can afford it, and then we'll recruit some more units with him. Now let's send Siegfried out on a little bit of a scouting mission. Oh, hello. An old castle ruin that is guarded by Heralds. Yeah, well, it's a good thing they're inside of there, because I wouldn't want to mess with those guys just yet. There's a giant mantis there, and there's 2 lake trolls. I'm not too keen on taking on those lake trolls, if I'm honest. But let's crush the giant mantis. And then we pass turn, recruit some longbowmen, and we move out with the Baron. We're not at risk of being overrun in the Baron's castle just yet, I think. So we get some longbowmen. Bring them with us. And yeah, we just attack these boars. I hope we don't have to deal with these lake trolls at some point. You recover like 10% of your hit points every turn, so 1 hit point for these guys. I really don't want to go into combat with him for another 7 turns based on that, since I don't want him to be so low in hit points. Now we got an iron mine here with some slave workers. They do 1, 2, 6 damage. And I got the Taskmaster here. Giant Spider Queen up in the mountains. That's something I also really don't want to mess with right now. Numbers aren't that great at the moment. And as I said, every first turn of summer, so early summer, you get the farms, the villages, the hamlets will send units to you in conscription, which is a nice thing that kind of bolsters you up a bit. Now that we're playing on Wilder, though, it's a bit harder to get those units, simply because it's going to be harder to get the hamlets that we can conscript them from. That being said, let's see if we can find some farms and hamlets and such, so that we can... oh, we got attacked by the giant spider queen. Yikes. Well, hopefully it went well. We should be able to tear her apart to be... yeah, that went really well, actually. Great. Okay, not a single scratch on that one. Fantastic. And here is winter to slow our progress down. Gotta love it. Not really seeing that much super useful for me here at the moment. If I made a little bit of a different move, we could actually round it back here with Baron and cross this frozen river. You don't want to end your turn on the frozen river at the late winter time. Okay, so we need to safe shore up our immediate local vicinity a bit, I think. I'm not sure I want to take on those levies. I mean, these cavalry guys might be enough to deal with it, because I got 1 to 4 damage, which isn't that much. I mean, it could hit 4 and crit and then do substantially more, and then definitely that wouldn't be too good for us. But yeah, I don't know, levies with sling 1 to 2. I mean, they're not going to be that effective. Probably we could take them, to be honest, but there's something roaming around here that I can't see, because we don't have a scout, so yeah, we don't have the luxury of seeing that. If that moves into a hamlet here and takes that, it could be... it's probably brigands. I think we're gonna head closer to deal with that, so they don't... like, if they take this hamlet as well and stand post to strike at our Baron's castle, we can take them on before they have a chance, since it is unguarded right now, and that would instantly lose us the game if they took that. So we got some animated statues. And guardians, sir. Some pale ones. Up in this iron mine here. Have half a mind to take them on, but I don't feel like right now would be the best time for it. So let's see what's up here. We can recruit the High Lord for 54 gold. We're gonna go into this farm here, take it, and I think actually we will attempt to attack that village as well. Yeah. Yep, let's do it. So if we can have that claimed up by the time summer comes, that would be good. Ooh, they're doing some damage here, not liking it, but hopefully we can tear through them pretty fast. We should be good. Did we lose a cavalryman? How did we lose that cavalryman? We did lose a cavalryman. Just how exactly did that go down? I want to rewatch that. He died over here, I think. I didn't really see it. I want to pause when I see a cavalryman die. Okay, well he got super high rolled. He took 9 damage from a levy guy, so he critted. Then critted again, making it 7 damage. And then he rolled another 3, so... No, he probably actually minus the armor, so he had like 3 or 4 crit rolls, this guy. That's just very unlucky. The odds aren't really high for that happening, but it can happen. That being said, we at least got the farm, and this thing's been taken again. So there is someone here. And that is for sure there has to be brigands. Or bandits. I was straying a bit far with our guy right now here. Ah, and I completely forgot we can actually... Okay, so we could hire a monk if we had 2 more gold right now, but, you know, we don't. I'm gonna come back home with a baron here, so we can pick up some conscripts and whatnot. And I completely forgot that we have special powers. We can raise levies, we can do swift justice. And we can raise fort. Swift justice removes brigand lairs, basically. They just... Well, let's read it real quick. Swift justice can be dealt to a brigand lair. The place is surrounded and everyone is rounded up and hanged. This takes care of the brigand problem forever. You can raise fort, which puts a high wall all around the settlement and also raises a small hill with a simple fort on it, where the guards can look out over the surroundings. A fortification like this provides excellent protection against the beasts of Elysium, and it will quickly fill up with more inhabitants than previously. Can only be cast in hamlets. Raise levies. Raises a militia from the local population who will defend the place from brigands, animals, or worse. The militia can only be raised in a settlement where there is no militia already. The larger the settlement, the larger the militia will be. Can only be cast in human settlements. Now the Baron has pretty much the same. Oh, we didn't look at his stats. He's got 3 armor, 17 hit points, and 1 to 15 magic greatsword damage, which he can then deal with ethereal targets, for instance. And is sweeping, so if he overkills something, the damage will roll on. This guy is fairly strong. For like a 1-slot human infantry unit, for sure. And his special powers are the same, except he can also appoint Vassal, which is the Baron appoints one of his knights as a vassal, the steward and defender Martin Bailey. The fort would no longer produce units for the Baron, but for the vassal instead. The yearly conscription is increased to 1 knight, 2 soldiers and 2 archers. The vassal and his troops will move independently and will occasionally try to conquer surrounding settlements and mines. Can only be cast in a Martin Bailey. Relocate manor. The Baron moves his retinue and staff to another castle. I don't think that A is supposed to be there, but to another castle. And he I mean, I can't criticize it too much when I can't even say this word properly. Any subsequent conscription will be directed to the new manor. Only a castle or the knight's castle or the king's castle can be made the new manor of the Baron. Can only be casting castles. That's fine, we're not going to be casting that for now. It would be nice if we had a little bit of iron income. And just a little bit like, where do I want to go? Let's explore up here. Maybe we can find a farm or something before. If we find next turn a farm or something, Like, I'm not sure if this will provide conscripts for us, this airy farm right here. But maybe. If we capture it though, maybe it will at least stop spawning. Yeah, it no longer spawns various units. We could take on this, although they do have 2 armor. I don't know, like... I want a little bit of reinforcements on this guy before we really start taking stuff. That we should be able to take though, so... Yeah, we get that next turn and we get extra conscripts on the village. That's definitely worthwhile doing. It's a graveyard with a banshee. I don't like that the graveyard will spawn things, but the banshee is... well, she's got Death Whale. I made the mistake of not realizing she had 25 bursts, meaning she hits 25 frickin' squares with this, dealing 1 to 999 damage to each one of them. I once went in with an army and was like, oh, 2 banshees, yeah, that's no problem, and then just heard her Death Whale going, wah, wah, and then my army was dead. So that was fun. Not gonna do that again, so we're just gonna leave her alone for now. These guys. They have 1 to 4 acid spray damage and a bite. Like, the acid spray will completely negate armor. Which is unfortunate if we attack with our knights, but I kinda do want to attack it though, so we're gonna do that and hope we don't lose any of them. Well, actually, this isn't knights. This is a High Lord and cavalrymen. Knights is a different thing, which we'll be seeing as soon as the first turn of summer appears. Well, we won the battle. I just hope we didn't take too many casualties. And there we go. This year's conscription resulted in 2 knights and 8 spearmen. Very nice. Well, actually, kind of a little bit lackluster, but better than nothing. Alright, so let's see how this went. And it went well. Good. And we can hire Falco the Alchemist here, which I think we will actually. We're not the strongest casters, but you can see it's got cold resistance and fire resistance, so if that should ever become something we want to have, then we have it. Yay. Either way, we're just going to take the entire army here, since there aren't any roamers that I can currently see in the general area that we need to worry about when it comes to defending the Baron's castle. And we are just going to start walking this towards our Baron. We should be able to deal with this without taking too much casualties with the army he has now, but since wasn't it mid-spring last term? It could be someone's activated a Stonehenge or something. I feel like we skipped the spring turn, or maybe I'm just like my memory's not serving me well here. Oh, wait a minute. No, never mind. I thought I saw a Brigand Lair, but it was only the Enchanted Forest with the Willow Wisps in it. Huh. Vulcanus the Senator. Our army is a little bit damaged already, so I don't really want to mess with it right now. We could maybe take it out, but we know the Senators in this area then. And yeah. Oh, he ran into something stealth though. If that was actually substantial enough, then maybe now's the time to attack. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. So if we attack the Senator, he's gonna retaliate for that next turn, so we're just gonna move down here a little bit and get away from these guys for now, and then maybe recruit some more cavalrymen if we can at any point get some trade or iron. Which, yeah, let's take this coal mine so we actually have access to iron. We're just gonna... We can definitely take that hamlet, that's not a problem at all. Soon enough we should probably go and levy our hamlets and upgrade them if we can. Oh, wait a minute, that's a 1, 2, 3, so still, if we take out the Senator, we're gonna have to deal with the other guy. Hopefully no casualties. Nope, good, very nice. And a meteor has struck down in a forest. Okay, so we know there's probably more forest around here then. And we just Falco. We're gonna rename, although I like that name. We're gonna rename him. And we're gonna call him Walter. Usually you'd write Walter with an H, but it's kind of a little bit of a Germanic twist to it there without the H. You can do it with the H as well in Germany, but... or in Germanic. Ancient forest, bunch of stuff. I'm just exploring a little bit. I'm gonna go back and probably we will levy up these places with Siegfried. Just getting 4 longbowmen here, so then we have, like, it should be very hard for anyone to attack this now unless they got ranged. So we have iron gates with 4 armor and 50 hit points, and the 4 longbowmen here to just tear down anything that might wander into our Baron's castle. Yeah, so we continue the next turn. There is a giant mantis there. Alright, so here's our new conscription army coming in strong. Yep. Oh, did we lose a spearman? Oh well. I mean, we get them for free, so... no biggie. Yeah, 1 spearman casualty, I can take that. It's fine. And then we're gonna just actually give all this to our Baron, and we'll send Walter back so he can transport the next conscripts to our Baron as well when they show up. And okay, there's a lot of stuff I can't really do too much to right now. I do want to go mess with the Senator though. But I do want that coal mine first. What I'm going to do is take that giant mantis out first, and then the coal mine, just so he doesn't wander into the airy farm, and or retake the coal mine here too easily if we wander away from this area here to deal with the Senator. Which I think the sooner we can shut him down, because he's got the 100% gold boost that the AI has, and another 50 on top of that, so if we can take him out early game before he gets a spiral with that, that's going to be very nice. Okay, so we can get 10 archers for 70, which we can't afford, and we're going to get some more bowmen, longbowmen actually. Should probably save a little gold for potential commanders and whatnot, but oh well. Okay, we have knowledge of the ocean. Probably the ocean. So that's good to know, I suppose. Yalmenos, the warlock, has been eliminated. The last commander was slain by Heralds. And we should hopefully not have taken too many casualties on this one here. I love longbowmen, are just softening up our enemy forces, sir. And, well, we lost 2 spearmen so far. Okay, 2 spearmen down. I can live with it. Alright, well, 1 AI is gone, and hopefully we can make another AI go away fairly soon. Just gonna put Walter on sentry there until the next wave of conscripts are in. And yeah, I think as soon as they come in, we start attacking the Roman guys, so we just move back. Oh lord, we're gonna have to go and deal with this. God damn it. Okay, we're gonna get a scout because they come in extremely handy. 2 moose, another 2 moose. I think we'll have to deal with it, so they don't take away our airy farm and coal mine and village and such. And we end the turn again. Well, okay, they're not actually attacking those things, but there's nothing really stopping them, so if we can take one of them out. Not a big fan of roamers. We're gonna take out these wolves as well, since they're roaming. Okay, one runs away and one comes too. We'll deal with the one that came too. Easy peasy. Lemon squeezy fighting those wolves. And now these guys... What? Never heals. Oh, that's a bush. Yeah, I meant to click on a moose. They got trample, doing 2 damage when they trample into something, which can be a little bit annoying if you don't have the armor to negate it particularly, which some of our units don't. They have, however, 32 hit points, so I had to mute myself for a second now. They do have 32 hit points though, no armor, so hopefully our longbowmen can bleed and die before the battle even begins. They are, however, fast, so yeah, it will move twice as fast as normal units in combat, so it will get to our ranks fairly quickly, because we will also be moving towards them. Unfortunately, we won't like back off or anything, so our archers can get more use out of themselves, but that's how the game works, so whatever, it is what it is. We didn't take any casualties? No. But you could see the trampling effect. Let me just show you that again real quick. You can see they just push through with a massive size. Push back the cavalry, throw the cavalry behind the front line, so they're now in the back row. And that's a bit annoying with trample. Like, if there's no room for them to push things aside, it just gets ejected to the back line. Like, if you have like 10 lines of army and your front line gets just like thrown 10 squares back, that's a bit silly. But that's how it is. Like, instead I feel like your entire line should just everything. It should be pushed back one, instead of throwing like your front line to the back. It's, I don't know. I don't entirely agree with how they did that. 20 wolves. Well, we have 21 units. Although 20 wolves doesn't really sound like fun, but we will probably attack them, I guess. Okay, so we're starting to have a little bit of coal income, at least, from the coal mine. Sorry, iron income from the coal mine. But for now, I think we'll just go more longbowmen, since we don't get them on the conscription at all. And let's just keep exploring here and see if we can find some more stuff to... Ooh, that is not good. Oh, farm, yeah, I'll take that. Okay. And I think we're at around the 30-minute mark now, so maybe a little bit past it actually. So I will call this episode, and I hope you enjoyed watching it. It's not the most spectacular start I've ever had with Baron. I feel like there's a lot of going around here, and then like just not really that much we can do. Because the units are so strong that are guarding these things, that taking them on is suicidal. And also in addition to that, there just isn't that many farms and hamlets around for us. Which is inconvenient, because we need those for conscription to be more, well, stronger. Either way, if you did like the video, I would appreciate if you would consider leaving a like, and or maybe subscribing. It would certainly help my channel out. And, well, there's always a comment section where you can tell me about all the mistakes that I made. So, go forward. And with that, thank you for watching, and I bid you farewell.